Welcome along to episode 811 of the Milk Bar. Jason Forrest here with you as ever. And coming up on the show this week, Darren Haywood lets us know about the show Don't Stop Carrying On. We'll be hearing from Dr. Sarah Jarvis as we get advice on how smoking cessation could save you 20 minutes of your life for every cigarette you don't smoke. We'll be having an hour with Gavin from Zkeletonz, finding out about their music. Kate Hardcastle MBE talks lunchification and how the humble tinned can of food can make a massive difference to what we eat. Plus, we'll be talking about general health too, with some amazing recipe ideas from PT and health consultant Scott Harrison. That's all on the way on the show this week.
Welcome to the Milk Bar. 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 Welcome to the Milk Bar.
Now, Darren Haywood, veteran of the Panto at the Walsall Arena, is back there with his carry-on show on the 6th of February. He's here now to tell me more about what's happening. Hello, sir.
Hello.
How are we doing?
Just about recovered from Panto. Yeah.
Well, I mean, you put a load of work into it. Absolutely everybody did. And it was an amazing show for Panto. I absolutely loved every second of it. And it's good to know you're going to be back with something else which has been receiving huge plaudits and awards. And this is all, you know, it's all you. This is just you.
It's just me. One-man show. Although I'm not playing one man. I'm playing lots of people. Yeah, it's a bit of a tour de force. It's one of those. It's like the show is like a train that you get on, and like it's just non-stop until the end. It's it's a lot, but it's great.
Well, it fits the title, Can't Stop Carrying On. And as I say, it visits the world of the amazing Carry On movies. And I mean, there's nothing more British than the humour and the fun that's in there. But there's nothing more amazing than the way these stories and the comedy was told. And the stories behind all of this, too, are phenomenal.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about yourself, but certainly for me, I grew up on Carry On films. I've loved them since I was a kid. My humour is very much in the Carry On house, yeah, they're just they're comforting. They remind you of years gone by and a different way of life. And they may be seen as dated now, and certainly some of the humour and some of the things in the film may be dated. But that's quite a large part of the play itself. Does look at that and cover it.
And I think as well, yeah, whilst we accept that maybe the attitudes have changed, actually, they were never they were holding a mirror up to society and often taking the mickey out of those attitudes to show where they were wrong and show people in a good light. And I think that's one of the positives you can take from it. No one was actually harmed by the humor. No. They were laughing at people who felt that was the right way to live.
And one interesting thing I always find about the Carry On films is they're always accused of being quite sexist. But if you actually look at them, it's always the women that come out on top in the films, and it's always the men that are made to look foolish, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, no, I think again that's part of showing that actually if you can behave like this, we will make fun of you for doing it, and it won't work out well for you. And I think that's it's almost the moral compass that we didn't know we needed at the time, but certainly we've grown to grow into now.
Yeah, definitely.
And what brought you to this apart from growing up with them? Because this is an amazing show, which is you've done in Edinburgh, all over the place.
So basically, the writer of the piece is a friend of mine called James Nicholas, and we worked together on a few plays, and we both got a very similar sense of humour. We both like the same kind of comedy. He also loved the Carry On films. And we were up in Edinburgh doing a play, and we were room sharing, and we would just talk about the Carry On films, and then I'd start to do one-liners from the films, and they were making him laugh, and I was doing all the characters and all the voices, and he was going, "Oh, you're so good at these voices," and what had happened previously, years ago, was they tried to bring the Carry On films back as a cartoon series, which I had auditioned for because I'm an impressionist, and as a result of that, I ended up playing Hattie Jakes in this pilot that they made, which we recorded at Pinewood
Yeah,
itself
wow.
with Peter Rogers, who'd produced all the films. So I suddenly found myself at Pinewood being shown around all the locations where they'd filmed the Carry On films. I'm sat in Peter Rogers' office opposite him. Right, the little boy in me, like I was absolutely fanboying out of my head. Um, and yeah, that was as an amazing experience. And so when I told James this, and then of course he heard me doing all these voices, and so he basically went off and wrote a play for me. Really, he thought that would be a really good idea for a play
This is
where
like your little voice, isn't it,
we,
really?
yeah, it is really. And so basically, the play itself, I'll explain. It's about Peter Rogers. I play Peter Rogers, and it picks up after the main run of Carry On films has finished. But Peter Rogers isn't finished, and it's him trying to keep the Carry On franchise going, even when it's probably had its day. And this is all true. So everything in the plays um, based on real films that he was trying to make, of projects he was trying to get off. So it's him going through the years, still desperately trying to keep the Carry On name alive. And then he's joined, if you like, by the Carry On cast. Now, they're not actually there with him, and it's either their voices in his head or he's recollecting conversations he's had with them,
Hmm.
and so that's how they come in to the play.
Sort of echoes of the
And
past
so
as they keep the story alive.
yeah, it's a bit like that, and it can get a bit crazy. Like there are times where I'm playing multiple people in the same scene. I'm having conversations between them all, uh, being all the different people. So it does get a bit crazy, and that's why I say it's like a train. You get off, you can't get off. It's a lot to juggle. It's like I'm juggling all the way through the play. I'm juggling the acting, the lines, the voices, the impressions, if you like. Yeah, there's a lot going on, but it's you won't have seen anything like it, I don't think. And if you're a Carry On fan, you will honestly absolutely adore it. It's yeah, such a lovely piece, and James has written this wonderful piece. Bless him, around what I can do. Um, yeah, it's really it's not just me. The piece is a lovely piece as well.
Well, directed by Simon Ravenhill, written by James Nicholas,
Yes,
performed by the hugely talented voice actor and character actor Darren Haywood. And he looks great in a dress too when he's doing panto. It is appearing at the Walsall Arena and Arts Centre. It is Thursday, the 6th of February, 7:30. You can book on the website walsallarena.com or give their box office a call on 0300 555 2898. That's 0300 555 2898. You will want to be there. It'll be an awesome show. Break a leg and don't have any other costume malfunctions whilst you're doing the show. Okay.
no, no, this is quite a safe one. This is quite a safe. I wear a suit all the way through.
Hmm.
Yeah, I'm
You
safe.
won't be suffering the same sort of thing as Babs
Nothing can
had
go
during
wrong.
that Carry On camping scene. That's the important thing.
Oh, that is in there. I don't. Well, yeah, there's no bra involved, but yeah,
No, no
that's
spoilers.
there.
Yeah. All right.
That scene is there.
All right. It's
Yeah.
going to be amazing. Darren, always good to speak to you. Thank you for joining us. Have a great time on stage in Warsaw on the 6th of February.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Jason.
Now, Zkeletonz have been sharing CDs online, sending them out to would-be fans. You can hear their music on the likes of Spotify too, but an actual disc is part of the fun. Gavin McLaughlin, lead singer, is here with me now to tell me quite what they've been up to and where their music starts from. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well, thanks. Yeah, I'm Gav, the lead singer from Zkeletonz, and we did start in a place you might be familiar with because it was Staffordshire and Warwickshire in the Midlands.
Hmm.
So that's where we grew up, started playing music and went to school, and that's where the journey started.
But it's moved on a bit because are you down south now?
Absolutely, yeah, we're based in London now. I've just come off a studio session today, actually, and we have been circulating the free CD that you mentioned, but we also are now working on a proper debut album. and the three of us were at the studio in Dalston in Hackney, just yeah, finishing off the sort of the pinnacle of progress of all the writing and composition and creative development we've done over the years, which is 35 to 40 minutes of music coming your way in 2025.
You talked about starting just Staffordshire surrounding areas, all up here in the Midlands. How did it actually begin? I take it that was school, but how old are you now? How long have you been doing this?
Oh, we're in our 30s now. I've been doing it for coming up to 10 years in Skeletons.
Yeah.
The connection between Ed and I, well, Will, the guitarist and synth player, who is in the band as well, I was at school with. We didn't make music together at school. We used to play tennis against one another and do a few other things. But then Ed, I met when I was about 19 or 20, a
Mm.
very long time ago. I also lived in a flat with him for 6 or 7 years. And we all now live at different stops along the Victoria line in London.
Okay, what took you to
We were
London then, though? It wasn't the music, was it?
initially, to some extent, it was. Ed and I both had a shot at, professional sort of international touring music when
Hmm.
university finished. I was keen to come to London to pursue that, and I did. But Ed sort of went back to his parents in Leamington to get on his laptop. He was a producer at that time and under the name of Coin Operated Boy, and he was recruited to remix some of my music because I was in a band that was emerging. Then all of it sort of yeah just changed. And then we got real jobs and lived in a flat together, and then sort of rekindled our passion for music really. So him and I were on the same record label when I was about 21, as I said, and then we both tried to make those projects, really, really, really successful. We were touring the UK and we would play some quite big nights, places like DQ in Sheffield and big clubs in London. Ed used to play Fabric as a DJ, places like that. He was on Radio 1. Then him and I had a night together in London, which was at a place called 93 Feet East on Brick Lane.
Mm.
And I was in charge of the live room, and he was in charge with another really good DJ called Santero. But they had the DJ room, and then for a time, I think that was the biggest free gig in London. It was once a month on a Saturday. But then we just we got jobs because we weren't making enough money, and we're not making much sending out free CDs. But we're having a very good time, and yeah, we're really excited about our debut album. So that's the long and short of it. I was connected to Ed through music industry contacts, and we both had a big sort of surge and emergence into the music industry in our early 20s. And now in our early 30s, we are doing it again.
Mhm.
And we were lucky in the intervening period to, perfectly honestly, do a lot of clubbing.
And that set the mood, did it?
I think it helped. Yeah, I think we took our time with our image and our sound, and we've sometimes been able to like work day jobs which are sort of adjacent. So, like for streaming services or on like cultural projects, I was involved in quite a big anti-racism like carnival and gig in Hackney around about the time of Brexit. And so there were things that we did that made money that were next to music. And I think that can give you a lot of freedom actually, because you don't feel compelled to not send around free CDs or have your own sound. And our sound is very, very fun and accessible. Lots of different people like it. Children, older people, yeah, you can get your great grandma groove into it, but it's pretty niche kind of sound, It's like it's sparkly electronic disco that's quite heavily rooted in French touch. And there's a few bands from that 2000s French electro scene who are very well known, like Daft Punk and Phoenix. but they're not Queen or Jamiroquai or something like that. Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll take a listen to a track now. So, what should be maybe our audience's first experience of Zkeletonz?
So the first experience of Zkeletonz, reflecting our hedonistic and fun-loving background, is always a good start to bang on Improve Your Groove. And just improve your groove by listening to us with Improve Your Groove by Zkeletonz.
Okay, Gavin, more from you in a moment's time, but first of all, let's improve our groove with the help of Zkeletonz.
To the greats that came before me. Now Rogers, Madonna, Prince and Bowie too. I need them on holler, always there for me. I'm a junkie for the pop. Nothing's gonna change it. Improve your groove for me. I've got a recipe in my bag. Improve your groove for me. Improve your groove. Made for the floor, 'cause I dance until I drop. I pay homage to the greats that came before. Like Sophie, Biggie Small, oh daddy from the womb. Quality, not genre, is how I like to use. True drummer, a hero, show me how to live. Now Rogers, Madonna, they're always there for me. Junkie blood for love, in a world that's free from hatred. Improve your groove for me. I've got a recipe in my bag. Improve your groove for me. Improve your groove. It turns me on just a little, keeps me strong just a little. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. It keeps me strong just a little, turns me on just a little. Groove, groove, my recipe. It turns me on just a little, keeps me strong just a little. Oh, 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 yeah, yeah. It keeps me strong just a little, turns me on just a little. Groove, groove, my recipe. Improve your groove for me. I've got a recipe in my bag. Improve your groove for me. Improve your groove.
Now, the cost of food is still rocketing. Lunchflation has been hitting families hard across our area. To tell us more about how we can combat this, I'm joined now by consumer expert Kate Hardcastle MBE. Good afternoon.
Hi, how are you, Jason?
I'm good. I hope we find you well.
Yeah, I'm really good. I'm really good. I'm feeling positive, which is a good outcome for the new year.
Absolutely. And with kids heading back to school, obviously school lunches are going to suddenly become a thing again. But whether they're taking sandwiches or joining in with what's going on in school itself and what the families are taking to work with them as too, all of this does cost cash. And it's keeping the lid on it, isn't it?
That's why I'm feeling positive, because we've already started this trial from this research that's come from Love Can Food a couple of weeks early. We started it mid-December. And we switched out the kids' packed lunch meals and our lunchtime meals. So we 2 work from home adults, 3 children in the household. And we looked at the average price we were paying for that standard kind of packed lunch. sandwich, crisps, drink, chocolate bar, that kind of stuff. And we switched it out to a meal, you and I would call it a leftover, I guess, from the night before, that we'd taken from the Love Canned Food website. And they went with a little thermos flasks. They've eaten it. They've become the hit and talk of the packed lunch table. And they're really enjoying it. And we're saving money. We're already doing it. So this research shows that average household spending £54 per month per child on a packed lunch. And with canned food swaps from Fresh, you can take it down to under £15 per month. If you add that up over a year, you know, that's a family holiday on the cards. It's really, really big thinking.
Absolutely. And it makes it really easy to do veganuary as well, because if you're doing that for a change and taking meat out your diet for a while, this is another great way of doing it.
Yeah, there's so many recipes on their website and on their Instagram. And that's why I really enjoy going on Instagram, because I like to see it first. It's at Love Canned Food. But I think for us, apart from me, we've got a big kind of household of big carnivore meat eaters. And vegan January has always been a bit of an issue for us, if I'm being honest. We've not found it that easy. So what we've made work is trying different recipes till we get something that doesn't feel like you're sacrificing. I think the minute in our brains we go, right, I'm doing this and I don't want to, you kind of do feel that it's, you know, something you don't want to take on as a habit. And the way that things happen and become habit is actually if it feels like it's easy or it's not a sacrifice. That's the golden nugget here. So the swap out from fresh to canned, it's making it easier cost-wise, it's making it easier time-wise, because we're not constantly up and down to the supermarket, but we're enjoying it. And, you know, we've found, I mean, some of the recipes, Jason, I can't, honestly. My kids like the cheeseburger pasta one. I mean, there's no way I'm going to sit here and say, do that. You know, if that's right for you, good for you. I'm not eating it. But some of them have been brilliant, really good.
Yeah, so it is worth checking out. And it's the convenience of canned food, the long shelf life, the fact that you can do a monthly shop rather than keep going weekly, and get it all in one go. And that way as well, at least, you know, it's sitting there on the shelf and it allows you to mix it up. You can have a variety of different meals that you can sort of pull from. And it doesn't have to be the same thing night in, night out.
Absolutely, so varied, from stewed steak and veggies, in pastas, to ingredients for salads. But then, you know, we've brought the slow cooker back. I know it's all about the air fryer, but we've really gone for it with the slow cooker. Just dumping the ingredients in, mix them up, few herbs and spices, and then this aroma for a few hours of like, yeah, there's something delicious brewing for tea. We're really excited about it. So, and the kids are involved with it. You know, the good thing is measurements are easy to read on the side of a can. You understand what the ingredients are going to be. It's not difficult recipes on this site for you to be able to introduce into your daily life. But yeah, the whole thing about shopping, if we decide we don't want something one day, no worries, just leave it in the cupboard. We don't have to worry about it going off. It's there for the next month.
Mm-hmm. And it's a nice, easy way of doing it. And so, I mean, well, you've talked about taking the thermos. I mean, whether you're warming up, something like some soup to take in that's come straight out of a can, or whether you maybe zhuzh things up a little bit more with a few different options. And you know, I still think as a kid, I probably would have taken in some toast and a thermos full of beans and having that for me lunch. And that would be a great way, even if you just dip in the toast and eating it with the beans on top. That sounds like fun to me.
It's everything for everyone. I've relived my childhood because I didn't realize one of my favorite desserts is probably like pear tart. And so canned pears, flambés, nice bit of cold custard. Oh my goodness, I'm getting excited talking about it now. And I've missed that so much. And it's so easy to do. Again, it's a real treat.
And the thing is, all the food in cans is already pre-cooked. You haven't got to worry about it cooking through. That's
why the kids can be involved. You know, that's why we don't have to worry in terms of they can make their own recipes, they can be part of it. It's that health, safety, cost, finance. And, you know, there is a ton of research on the Love Canned Food website as well about taste tests, where they've gone and worked with Manchester Metropolitan University to understand that there's no difference. In fact, over half of people feel canned foods taste as good, if not better, than fresh foods. Nutritional values, everything you need to know is there to give you the reassurance. But as someone, Jason, who's actually been to the canning plants, this idea of fresh being better, when, you know, it's often going on a few vans and then going into an operational warehouse, then onto a shelf, then it's been picked up and put back down by a few people. I'm not buying that that's a better process than something in a can that's been done closer to source, and then I'm opening it fresh for the first time. So I also enjoyed that element of it.
Yeah, and it's pre-cooked, so even if it looks different, tinned peas and carrots, actually they look exactly the same as peas and carrots from anywhere else. Only thing is, you haven't got the inconvenience of them going off. You haven't got to keep these electric and freezing them. And if I'm doing something like a cottage pie, I always use tinned vegetables in there
Yeah.
because you haven't got to worry about them cooking in the in the oven when you're doing the rest of the meal. It's all there, ready to go.
100%. My mum and dad live off there from Ireland. This Irish stew, everything is canned. The meat, the potatoes, the veggies, it's the meal of the week. And that's the smell of home to me. So, yeah, I think we've just got to get perhaps away from this myth, reassure ourselves that it's the right thing to do. Just make sure you keep it varied. And that's why all these recipes are there, making sure that you just switch it up a little bit. That's going to make sure that you're kind of hitting different nutritional values each day. In terms of the time you will save in shopping, in worrying about your meal plan and things, and trying to do everything's last minute versus a bit of planning on a weekend, it's equal. You're not losing time because you're having to pre-prep meals, and the cost's just worth it. Like say, £40 per child, that's nearly 150 quid a month. It's massive. It's massive.
Absolutely huge. So where do we go to get all these amazing recipe ideas and even take part in Veganuary with a few simple swap outs?
Yeah, you just need to go to Love Canned Foods on Instagram. I prefer that because I can see the pretty pictures, or you can look at the Love Canned Food website. Everything is there. Don't have to worry about it. And there's some celebrity chefs on there as well, telling you how to make things far better than I can.
Well, the consumer expert and queen of the can, Kate Hardcastle MBE, thank you for joining us.
Thanks so much.
Now, when it comes to New Year's resolutions, looking after your health, it's up there. Sometimes a personal trainer can really make a massive difference. To tell us more about the wonderful world of looking after ourselves, I'm joined now by Scott Harrison, Sunday Times bestseller, PT, mindset and wellbeing expert. How are you doing, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you too. So when it comes down to our resolutions for the new year, health is often on the list. What else should we be thinking about, though, when it comes down to approaching our sort of exercise regime sensibly?
Well, I think you'll find that most people quite often do it the wrong way around. So yes, exercise is important. It's important for your bone density, your muscle tone, your joints, your posture, massive investment in your future. And you should be exercising into your 90s and beyond. Non-negotiable. Don't even have the conversation with yourself, right? Exercise something shouldn't be just January, say forever. And if you do that, then obviously you're not going to need, hopefully, a frame around your toilets when you want to get up and down when you're a bit older, and you'll still be able to walk up the stairs. You don't need a lift, and you can walk through the forest and along the beach. But most importantly, we've got to look at our nutrition.
When it comes to approaching that, though, often people think, oh, I'll suddenly eat healthy and change themselves over to pretty much a salad-based diet. And that doesn't contain the whole range of things that they need.
No, everyone's focus is far too much on a calorie deficit, no matter what the food is. But you can eat lots of delicious food. As long as it's a balanced plate of food, balanced throughout the day, plenty of water, life changes pretty fast. You don't have to be eating birdseed salads at all.
And I mean, we all need carbohydrate of some type. Okay, going over the top with carbohydrate is bad, but actually, you can still enjoy your favorite pasta or maybe even potato done in certain ways without it sort of making a massive dent in your regime.
Yeah, I mean, it depends how fast you want results, but if you want really fast results, there's certain things you would probably remove. But it isn't the carbohydrate content, it's the type of carbohydrates. You can have the same amount of carbohydrates, just much more nutritious versions. Like, for example, a sweet potato and a white potato has got the same amount of carbohydrates, but the sweet potato is much more nutritious. If you were to remove the things like rice and replace them with things like quinoa and bulgur wheat and things like that, they're just a slightly more nutritious grain. But the other doesn't mean that potato and rice is bad at all. It just means you can make a few wins here and there, and sometimes those little wins can make bigger wins in the long run.
And it's all about planning your whole life as much as anything else. I mean, maybe you don't want to think 20, 30 years down the line, but things like menopause fitness, you've talked about being in your 90s and being able to get up and down without frames around the house to be able to move you around. All these sort of things, it doesn't suddenly happen to somebody. It's all part of their whole lifestyle. And it doesn't have to also not be fun. You can still have fun at the same time as keeping yourself in the right frame of both physically and mentally.
But I'd always choose an exercise that you enjoy because you're more likely to do it and not procrastinate. But yeah, exercise is fun, especially when you get into it, you start feeling the benefits, And I think what people always say, oh, things get worse with age. Actually, I'm going to challenge that a little bit because people say, oh, now I'm in my 50s, and, I can't keep the weight off so well. Or I get more illnesses come. It's because you've been chipping. It's not because you're in your 50s. It's because you've been chipping away at it for decades. So when they say, oh, when I was in my 20s, I could do this and do that. Well, that's because in your 20s, you hadn't had 30 years of chipping away at your health. Because that's what we do most days. Most of us poison ourselves every day in some way, shape or form. And we just don't do the right things that we need to do. So if we can try and change that relationship with food, with drink, with exercise and with yourself, now, then your later years become much more fun, enjoyable, energetic, with power, strength, vitality, and even if you're now in your 60s or 70s, we got people to come on my program. I think our oldest is 86. It's never too late to wake up and decide to be somebody.
Yeah, actually, to make a difference and start to get yourself into a sort of a healthy state. So one of my goals this year is to get my weight down again. I go through cycles. I'm currently the top end of where I get to, and I need to lose about 7 stone. So that's my challenge for 2025. And it's getting
Well,
back
Jason,
into.
I could turn you into Wolverine in 75 days because you're 5'9", if I'm not mistaken, same height as me.
Yep.
And I turned all this round in my late. I say late, when I was 42 was when I turned it around. I've not been this ripped guy from my 20s or anything. So, if you want to come on the program, mate, I'll walk you through it and hold your hand all the way to the finish line.
I think we need to have a conversation about this to get me into.
There's a challenge for you in front of all your listeners.
Okay, right. We will talk off air about this one and how I can get out of it. No, how we can start to look at putting this in place. But I mean, it's things like your Eat Your Way to a Six Pack. I mean, your best selling work there. There are books there which do make a difference, and I think recipe books can be inspiring, and there's lots of ways to approach this to start to make those changes.
As I said earlier, you got to stop with the quick fix fads and stuff like that. If you think about it, when we were younger, we would have treats maybe at the weekend or when we was in the cinema or when we were watching a movie at home or something. We wouldn't be having treats on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. But as soon as we hit the age of 18 and we've got our own money and we're allowed to get in the pubs and we literally at every opportunity we are having treats. And the only time people get healthy is usually in January when they do their New Year's resolution. They feel good after a couple of weeks. They go back to being the treats all the time. And the problem with that is that's just going to keep sending you backwards. So you need to rewire and flip the script and make it that because at the end of my program, I get people to keep their life-changing results and still party twice a week, which I think is the best of both worlds. But now the balance has flipped again. Instead of you're having your treats again. You're twice a week. You can do whatever you like. But the other 5 days, you need to just pay attention to what you're doing, because you are what you eat, and this is the only place you've got to live. So you must look after it.
Absolutely, yeah. You can't move house, as it were. And of course, you talk about food here, and it is those recipes that make a difference. So have you got some help for us there too?
Yes, I have my new book that's now available on Amazon, which is called High Protein Meals in Minutes. And this is the sequel to Eat Your Way to a Six Pack that you spoke about earlier. And you can get that now as we speak, ready for the new year to change your life forever.
And you've been working with some amazing celebs as well, the likes of Ryland, Emma Kennedy, Bobby Norris, Peter Andre. They have been part of your program and they've just reaped the benefits.
Yeah, I'm very blessed to have managed to get myself on this platform where I'm recognised by a raft of celebrities, actually, and they've all done absolutely amazing. I'm proud of all of them and managed to stay friends with all of them. And just got to go online and type in whatever name and body transformation, and you'll see what they've achieved. Ryland, Sarah Cox, as you say, Bobby Norris, Emma Kennedy. Yeah, it's been quite a thing. And half the cast of In the Line of Duty, and some Coronation Street, most of Towie. So yeah, it's been great.
And I think again that gives inspiration to people because they see them in these regular shows and they actually see them start to change. And it shows that people can do it, and it's interesting, if their characters can take on the same sort of regime as you're demonstrating. So they actually get to see the program work as it happens, and it is difficult to maybe to start something, but it's also easier to give it up. And once you've made that start, you've already done the difficult bit.
I always say, if you take the easy road in life, which most ways is sit around, do what you like, drink what you like, eat what you like, you end up with a hard life. If you opt for the harder road, well, what perceives to be the harder road, which is actually look after yourself, watch what you're eating, still be indulgent at times, exercise regularly, you'll have an easier life.
So make the most of your time that you get, use it wisely, eat wisely, and you're already a good step along the way. But the likes of your PT and your psychological coach who is there for you too can make a huge difference. This is where your programs come in. So how do people get on to working with you?
So we're an online fitness, nutrition and personal development program. So as I said, we change your relationship with food, with drink and with yourself. So we work on the mind as well. We eat lots of delicious food, probably more than most people are eating now. So very rarely are you hungry. It's more like it's just having the right food. At the beginning, most people say to me, Scott, I can't even eat all this food. I go, eat it, because within a few weeks, you'll be begging me for more, which they are, because their metabolism lifts, the body starts to burn that fuel efficiently, and therefore, now your body's ready for the next meal. It's not holding on to anything. So that program is called The Six Pack Revolution, which is at thesixpackrevolution.com. or Instagram and Facebook, etc., all the others, is at The Six Pack Revolution. Don't forget the. The next program starts in January, of course.
So obviously it's the right time to do it. Get yourself checking it out, see how it could work for you, and then the world is your oyster. See what happens next, and you could be sort of feeling great. And it takes about 3 months to really make a massive impact, doesn't it? I think that's the way with most plans and programs. So is it that sort of expectation to see great results from there?
Well, it used to be a 90-day program, 3 months, but I found how to get better results in less time. So it's now a 75-day program, and we are live with you all day, every day, from before you start till after you finish. Any questions are answered in minutes, and we tell you what to eat every day, what to drink every day, and how to think every day. And look, there's one thing I want to leave everybody with as well, is everything that you've ever been, and everything that you are now, and everything that you are to become is reliant on your health. Because if you lose that, you lose everything.
You can live for today, but also live for tomorrow too.
Yeah, of course. It all feeds each other.
Absolutely. Give us those details again where we can find out about the Six Pack Revolution.
Okay, it's thesixpackrevolution.com, and all of our socials are at the Six Pack Revolution. Well, and if you want to follow me personally, it's at I am Scott Harrison.
Okay.
And that's Instagram.
Follow your feed there, see how it's worked for you and how you're making a huge difference to others. Scott Harrison, Sunday Times bestseller, PT, mindset and wellbeing expert. Thank you for joining us. Have a brilliant 2025. And we look forward to you changing lives across the year. Thank you for having me, and a happy new year to everyone. Now, we're having a bit of a natter with Gavin McLaughlin from Zkeletonz. So first of all, explain the spelling of Zkeletonz. As we've already heard some of the music, it's about time we knew how to actually say it and the reason why we're saying it the way we're saying it.
You say it like the word skeleton with an S on the end of it, but the S's are, as you will have noticed, Zs.
Okay, why the URL was available? That's going to be the starting point, is it?
It was Google, and we wanted to be Googleable, and also we were quite inspired by churches. I don't know if you know churches.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the cool kind of Nordic. It almost looks a bit sort of black metal influenced. Their spelling of churches with the V in the middle.
Yeah.
And then we were thinking about that, and we thought basically they've been able to use a really cool common word, but they've made it their own and they're Googleable. So yeah, just being a band in the internet age, we stuck the Zs on the start and end, and literally everybody constantly asks us how to say it, and you just say it as if it's spelt normally.
But we don't let that, spelling hold us back, which is good. And so you talked a bit about it being an electronic sound. And is that what you did growing up as kids? I mean, because I mean, you've got guitars in there, and but synths are a thing that really are quite powerful in your overall music sound.
Yeah, I think when we were younger, we played with samples and synths. I certainly did from the age of about 12. But when we were making music at the beginning in school and when we were much younger, there was more of a divide between electronic music and pop music and being a DJ or making rap music and heavy rock music.
Hmm.
So I think what happened was us, all of us in the band, having been into all of those kinds of music. We do like some very heavy music as well. Like I like Judas Priest. Like I like um, metalcore. I like hard rock. And we played that when we were younger, but when we were younger, it was always totally separate. So you would either be in a band where there was a bass player, a guitarist, and a drummer, and it was all quite traditional, whether that was an indie band or a metal band, or you would be separately doing the production stuff and using samples and synths. And then some people did that without any of the live stuff. And a lot of them became DJs and rappers and did sort of the other side of the line. What happened in the intervening period since we were younger making music was that those things fused, and that's what interests us the most. I think it started with the wave of 2010s kind of synth bands, like Klaxons and Hot Chip, and
Hmm.
they were heavily influenced by the 80s. Block Party as well had an entire remix album, which was called Silent Alarm Remixed. So you could listen to every track again. That was back when we still had CDs. You could listen to every track again if you got the CD again and got the remixed version, but it was all electronic. And then when I met Ed, I was in a rock band pretty much, and he was just a DJ. And so that fusion was what opened it up for us to pursue a sound that we truly enjoy.
But you go with a look as well, and I've seen all sorts of things on, including your E17 take on a few covers, and the look means something to you as well, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think all the most iconic bands have a jacket.
Yes,
The
you'd be big on your jackets, but you're not in a white
Libertines.
suit sitting on a stool most of the time, though. That's not where you're going.
No, but I immediately think of the Hives, another great band who I
Mhm.
was super into when I was younger, and idolized Per Almqvist from the Hives. I remember I was once at Reading and I watched him marry two halves of the crowd to each other, pretending to be a priest. I was like, wow, that's crazy, such control over all these people, and they just thought it was so theatrical and so wonderful. So the Hives, I picture them immediately in my mind as I'm talking, wearing white suits with black ties, and then it's a long and rich tradition. You've got the Commodores, you've got the Libertines, all the best bands had a look. And when I was starting out, a friend's dad said to me very wisely, you can't have one guy dressed in denim and one guy dressed in leather. So we just took it on board, and when we sit down to plan the project, we will take decisions like that quite seriously, and we will argue about them for a few hours. And then once you got your name or your weird name or your crazy jacket, you stick it on and you stick to it. So we have an image that is bright, colourful, and we always look like we're going to a music festival, and we always look like you're supposed to just get under those lights, smoking lasers and have a boogie. That's our image.
Yeah, it works, brings the music to life, and it doesn't stop it working on the wireless though. So I think that's the other good thing as well. You're very radio friendly.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, yeah. Well, we like to write pop songs, but then refract them through a weird lens. Most obviously, when we cover a pop song, like we've covered obviously Superstar by Jamelia, and we've covered Romeo by Basement Jaxx. But then when you listen to our versions, they're quite electronic, and they're quirky, and they're more of a kind of synth pop or indied up kind of version of those tracks. But yeah, I think we're radio friendly on purpose. So we want to be listened to, and we want to be liked. The big connection for us with home and the Midlands has been the BBC, because BBC commentary have been absolutely lovely to us, and they know how proud we are about where we're from, and they've backed us to the hilt. Like they sent us to festivals, that played us on the breakfast show. So when they started to give us that support, it really motivated us to take it a lot more seriously, and to carry on and to expand and to be passionate and enthusiastic. And
But it's not grown-up music, though. You're not going to grow up, are you? Please tell us you're not going to grow up.
No, I think we want to grow the project. So yeah, maybe the sparkly jackets would be like, I don't know, I'd like a whole sparkly amp, sparkly stage, sparkly everything, and just grow the vibe, not a more grown-up sound.
No, but we'll see that develop. Meanwhile, you've got another iconic Skeleton song for us to play us out. Tell us what it's going to be, and then give us all the details on where we'll be able to find things online.
No problem, thanks. So this is our latest single. It's called Lonely, and we released it a couple of months ago, tail end of this year. Happy New Year to everybody. Enjoy this song Lonely by Zkeletonz, and you can find us, the band Zkeletonz. Obviously it's spelled Zkeletonz, but that's on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and also Google, where we'll come up straight away, top of the page.
Kevin McLaughlin, sparkly jacket wearing lead singer of Zkeletonz, thank you for joining us.
You're very welcome, Jason. Have a lovely night and have a lovely day, and keep up the good work with your show, mate.
When they tell you you should hold your tongue, never listen to the pressure. You're a winner, you are enough. Feel the pressure, let it build you now. You're a winner, yeah, you are enough. Feel the pressure, feel the pressure, feel the pressure. Feel that pressure. Still thinking this girl just be mine. Researching on the other side. Still thinking this girl just be mine. Researching on the other side of when they tell you you should watch your mouth, go and run it, you're a winner. Felt the pressure, time they found out. Feel the pressure, let it build you now. You're a winner, it's time they find out. Feel the pressure, feel the pressure, feel the pressure, feel that pressure. Still thinking this girl just be mine. Researching on the other
Now, when it comes to quitting smoking, each week that you manage to quit for could save you a day of your life. Dr. Sarah Jarvis is here to tell us all about this latest campaign. How you doing?
I'm doing very well indeed, thank you.
How was Christmas for you? Was it good, joyous, and
Oh,
fun?
do you know, it was lovely. Lots of family, lots of friends, lots of long walks with the dogs. Probably quite a lot of eating too much, but that's all right. It's only 1 week a year.
Well, yeah, so yeah, we can get over that and cope. And yeah, many people will be starting diets for the new year and trying to keep on track with that. And others will be giving up smoking as their New Year's resolution. And between the 1st and the 8th, if you were to manage not to smoke during that period, you've already made a significant start to your journey back to better health.
Oh, you really have. It is extraordinary. So we've just had some new data that's been published in the journal Addiction, which shows that if you're a smoker, on average, every cigarette shortens your life by about 20 minutes. Now, that sounds dreadful, but let's turn it on its head and do the glass half full, if you like. So if you smoke 10 cigarettes a day and you quit on the 1st of January, and you can avoid losing a full day of your life by the 8th of January, you could avoid losing a week by the 20th of February, avoid losing a month by the 5th of August, and by the end of 2025, you'll have gained an extra 50 days.
And doing, the quit thing, actually, I mean, it will overall improve your health. And not only will you live longer, you'll have a better quality of life too.
Yeah, I think that's really, really important. It's not just a question of quantity, it's a question of quality as well. So, for instance, on average, smokers find it difficult, need help with everyday tasks 7 years earlier than people who don't smoke. And they need support, like social services support and so on, 10 years earlier than people who've never smoked. So it really is about improving your quality as well as your quantity of life. And your pocket, of course.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, the finances very often don't seem to come into it for people as well, because yes, okay, you will have extra cash, but I mean, they have become addicted to a product. That's part of the problem. And whether they move
Oh,
over
yeah.
to vaping to help ease themselves off it, or whether they are able to go either cold turkey or use the other methods to get them down to either initially a lower level of nicotine and then off nicotine altogether. Yes, it does make a huge difference. And is it the cigarettes only that will give this extra time back, or does vaping help as well?
So it's really interesting. I mean, we know there's no question that vapes are less harmful than smoking, and they can be a really, really effective stop smoking tool. So we do know that they contribute to about 50 to 70,000 additional smoke quits per year. And I think really importantly, they are, along with behavioral help. So in other words, along with getting help from your expert smoking cessation advisor, they are the most effective way of quitting smoking. So that's good news. But of course, they do contain nicotine. Nicotine is highly addictive. So there is one very, very clear message. If you don't smoke, don't vape. If you do smoke, vaping's much safer.
But if you can equally ease yourself off that, again, it's another cost saving, and
Yeah.
you could actually still further improve your health, because we still don't actually know the long term effects of vaping. It's been around for less than a decade, really, hasn't it?
We know all about the long-term effects as well as the short-term effects of smoking, though. And we do know that however you choose to quit smoking, if it helps you quit successfully, that is really, really important for your health.
And it can make that huge difference there. I mean, with cigarettes, you've got the nasty carbon monoxide, the tar, all the other bits and pieces in there.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, we always say people with nicotine, they die from the tar and the arsenic, all the other revolting chemicals in there. And, I do not underestimate how addictive this is. I am only too well aware. Patients come to me all the time, and 3/4 of patients, people who smoke, wish they had never started. Most people who smoke want to quit. It's not just the cost, it's the impact on their health. There can be so many reasons for wanting to quit, but the simple fact of the matter is that you can make a difference. I mean, do you know what? Within 20 minutes of quitting, your pulse rate starts to come back to normal. After 48 hours, you've flushed out all the carbon monoxide you just mentioned, Jason. Your lungs are starting to clear out the mucus. Within 3 days, your bronchial tubes start to relax, and that makes your breathing easier. You get better energy levels. There are so many reasons for quitting. Smoking is psychologically as well as physically addictive. And the simple fact is that these sticks are made to get nicotine into your brain as quickly as they possibly can, because we know that your brain does respond to that nicotine hit. So it is an addiction. It is a physical addiction as well as a psychological addiction.
And quitting will do things like improving your risk against having a heart attack. I mean, you can get back
absolutely.
down to only to half the level of a smoker.
Within a year, your risk of heart attacks halved compared to a smoker. And after 15 years, in fact, if you've stopped for 15 years, I know that seems a long way down the line, but don't forget, I did mention you get benefits within 20 minutes. But at the other end of the spectrum, your risk of heart attack falls the same as someone who's never smoked after 15 years.
So there's a lot to be said for getting yourself off the cigarettes. So vaping being an option to help ease that difficult situation, and it keeps the physical bits of the motion, the mental habit of smoking. Vaping will replace that and make it easier to get yourself into a better health position.
It's entirely up to you or you and your smoking cessation advisor what you do. Don't forget, there is lots of free support out there if you're looking to quit smoking. And we do know that the least effective way of quitting successfully is by just going cold turkey. So we've got local stop smoking services. We've got a free NHS quit smoking app. We've got lots of information on the NHS Better Health Quit Smoking site. There's a personal quit plan, which is so important. And it gives you all the information about what products are available out there. It's not just vaping. There are alternatives. So there are nicotine-free medicines, which you can get on prescription. There are nicotine replacement therapies as well as nicotine vapes.
Because I mean, this is the pill that she's out there. Is it varenicline? Is it
Varenicline? Yeah.
I'm glad you said that because I couldn't. So how does that one work? What does that actually do?
So basically, it blocks the effects of nicotine in your brain and it makes smoking less enjoyable for you. And interestingly, research shows that if you combine them with nicotine products like nicotine replacement therapy, that's the best way, the most effective way of quitting successfully. Again, in combination with a smoking cessation advisor if you can.
So where do people go to get help and advice?
Well, you can go to nhs.uk/betterhealth/quit smoking, but really just look up NHS Better Health Quit Smoking. Don't need all the forward slashes.
Just Google it.
Dr. Google will do it for you.
Works every time. And get yourself better in the whole of your health. And as we've said, each week could add a day back to your life that you would have lost had you continued smoking. So it's a huge. I mean, we often say we just one more day with the person you love. Well, this is a way of getting it, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. And we also know that just 4 weeks, 28 days, if you manage to quit successfully for 28 days, you are much more likely to quit successfully long term. So, think about it that, as you say, that 8 days at a time, saving 1 week. Before you know it, you'll reach the 28 days, and that'll greatly increase your chance of quitting successfully for good.
Fingers crossed we can get many people to stop smoking during this new year period, and they can see 2025 through without needing a cigarette. Dr. Sarah Jarvis, as ever, always a pleasure to speak to you. Thank you for joining us and have a brilliant 2025.
Jason, thank you so much as ever. Lovely to talk to you. Happy New Year and happy quitting out there if you're listening.
That's a lot for this week. Thank you so much for joining me back with episode 812 next week. I'll see you then. Ta-ra for now.
Goodbye from the milk bar. 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 Yeah. Goodbye from the milk bar. Yeah.